Alright, everybody. So, when you have a country yard and you don't have a billionaire budget for landscaping, especially with red Georgia clay and rock, then you fake it till you make it. So, today we rearranged some container plants. They were a little bit haphazard, and so today we kind of repositioned some things that had been here for a few years, and then we had a hand truck and moved some other pots from other parts of the yard to just kind of group things and at least make it look a little bit nicer as you drive up and from the road. So if you're on a small budget with big time garden dreams, then maybe this strategy is for you. Basically, just trying to vary the heights and kind of group things a little bit as though they were in a real raised bed or a more beautifully defined space. But let me show you what's blooming right now. There's a lot of oldies and newbies. So I had a lot of Blue Fortune come back. This is a form of hummingbird mint. It is my favorite flower. I will say probably I should have cut this back a little bit more early in the spring because it's a little bit leggy and not quite as lush as it normally will be, but it will fill out, and it usually blooms non-stop, and I get several flushes that kind of alternate pretty much until October or November here in North Georgia. So as you can see, zoom in a little bit here, the bees and butterflies love it. Supposedly hummingbirds too, but I've not really seen the hummingbirds like this one. But it's very showy. It gets tall in general, which I do like, but you have to kind of cut it back. The first year you buy some, it'll get tall and lush, no problem, but the second and third years you really need to kind of cut it back a little bit, and I probably should have cut this back. These are second year plants, but even with me not doing that, they still look good. So I will, once the first flush kind of peters out, usually around July, that'll be the time to cut back. But you can see it's gonna kind of bloom from here up. But we have that. I've got some other hummingbird mint. This is also Blue Fortune. I think this is Kudos Mandarin. This is new. I guess the cold got some of mine last year, and it's normally pretty hardy. And we didn't have that bad of a winter, so I don't know what happened. But anyway, replaced it. Sadly, this broke a little bit when we were moving it, but if we can get some more sunny days, this will take off. We definitely did not have this much rain and cloud cover last spring, so I felt like everything looked a lot better this time a year ago, but there's plenty of summer left, and even though it is supposed to be wet and whatever, cooler than normal, I think we'll be okay. This is some new lantana I got at Lowe's yesterday, probably overpriced, but it was big and showy, and it'll take off. They were originally in not hanging baskets. They were in these ugly, well, you can see that ugly planter there, but it'll do for now. I'm eventually going to transplant that one elsewhere, actually into the side yard, which I'll say more about at a later time. But for now, this is fine. This is some Blue Fortune. I'm not sure if it's liking being in that little concrete pot, but we're going to give it another week or two, and if not, I'll switch it out. This is, I forget what type of sunflower this is called, but it's the kind that everybody's been wild about the last 2 or 3 years, and I got this in the fall, and it was really pretty, and amazingly, it survived in the original container. I never did transplant it, so, who knew? But it hopefully will be blooming soon. This is just a ready-made container little garden that I got at Home Depot. I need to deadhead some of the spent petunias probably in the next few days, but it looks good. A little shrub for a later planting with the lantana. Again, that's another video, another project for another day. We just planted, let's see, some different petunias, super petunias, which I have never grown. I have finally decided to give the super petunia craze, a whirl. And then I've got some Rockin' Blue suede shoes, blue salvia, and supposedly this stuff will go wild. So, yeah, eventually it may end up being its own pot from what I understand, but with the annuals, it's fine. But these are also some regular petunias, and I apologize, they kind of got turned around in the planting process. But again, you can see like some really nice color here, and these will get going here hopefully soon. I just got these a few days ago. So this was a hanging basket, and we just cut the wire and put it in the plant. So some nice color here. I think this is, let's see. Okay, this is Crown Princess Margareta David. I think I'm saying that correctly. English David Austin Rose. I got it last summer. It put on a spectacular show a few weeks ago. It's reloading. This is my other favorite hummingbird mint right here, Queen Nectarine. And I'll show you a specimen in my yard that looks more established. But this usually gets very tall, very lush. Again, I think I'm discovering, this is brand new, so it's just getting started. But I think Queen Nectarine, I don't know, needs to be cut back as much as Blue Fortune, although it probably wouldn't hurt your second year. But this is definitely one of my favorites, and I have seen my hummingbirds in this, mainly in the front yard. I've not really been out here, no. I forget the name of this. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on, I haven't taken the tag off. Okay. I saw this on a guy who owns a landscaping company, SNK Landscaping, North Carolina. I saw this featured on one of his videos, so I obviously need to take my tag off, but I got this at Home Depot a week ago, and we got these little containers yesterday. They were 2 for $39, and they have them in different colors. I like the black since I just got a new black metal roof, so trying to go with that. But I am in love with this shrub, and I'm normally not a shrub person, but now I want to go and get a whole bunch more for the front of the house, as well as a side yard project that I'll hopefully be doing later this month, because I have a professional coming to clear out a lot of my overgrowth and shrub that has gone wild over the years and get it under control. And at least on the side yard over here, which as you can tell looks crazy, please ignore my trash burning barrel that I can't use till fall. This has gone crazy, partly just because it has, but partly because the estate subdivision next to us, they don't have an HOA, and they have only kept up their part of the property that adjoins mine. But I'm going to get all of this. I have somebody coming to clean all that out. So anyway, so I have this. This is a Bobo hydrangea, which I also just got at Home Depot. Again, I kind of put it in the urn, and this is not originally where I'd planned to do these, but I started grouping these earlier today. I had some assistance, and I felt like I needed some height, and I know that this hydrangea will get bigger, so hopefully, I can always, that's the beauty of the container method. You can always move things around. So if something gets too big or needs more sunlight or needs more spacing, you can just give it a scoot or grab your hand truck and scoot it over, and no big deal. Speaking of hand trucks, that's what we use to move this Golly, I think this is Miss Golly Molly butterfly bush. This is its 3rd year, I think. This was one of the few that survived the big Christmas freeze of 2021. But I've moved this over here for some height and some color, so it's looking good. And I also moved over, I'm sorry if you hear children screaming, it's across the street. This is some more Blue Fortune. I had it in this pot on the side of the yard, but we moved it. It was not anywhere this big earlier. It has taken off, so I may have to move this rose out. But now that this is in more sun, then they may be able to thrive side by side and the Blue Fortune not overtake it. But as you can see, Blue Fortune, and this is 3rd year. This is third or 4th year Blue Fortune. And I did not cut it back, so to me it looks a little lusher than the others, and I really don't know what the difference is. But, you know, we'll see if it's going to be happy here in full sun. And then this right now kind of looks weird here, but I have just cut this back. You can see this is another David Austin English rose. This is, I think, Claire or Olivia Austin. I can't remember. But I literally had just whacked it back, and just in a couple of weeks it's already putting on a ton of new growth. So this will get big and start climbing, so the idea is that the roses will come up. And then this is Blue Blazes Hummingbird Mint, and I've had, this is its 3rd year, and this is the 1st year that it has done this well. I feel like this is a more temperamental hummingbird mint, at least for me here. So, you know, we'll see. I think I have some bee balm possibly coming back here. Again, we'll just kind of see what happens with that. But this rose bush has typically stayed kind of somewhere in this vicinity. It definitely likes a lot of sun. It was not that great the 1st year, but it really took off like the 2nd year and then last year. So it's the blooms don't last long, but when it does bloom, they're pale pink and they're really pretty. And I think that pale pink will look nice next to that purple and over here. Just real quick, again, kind of pardon our mess. This is part of all the brush that's going to get cleared out, and my dream is to then do like a nice kind of, you know, curving bed with some evergreens and shrubs and annuals and perennials. So we'll see if we can make that happen. Okay. So, anyway, this is not professional by any stretch of the imagination, but for those of you on a gardening budget and you can't, you know, your terrain, because right now this is crazy here, with there's rock and a sloping hill, and maybe you're just not able, for whatever reason at this time, physically, financially, a little bit of both or whatnot, because if you're renovating and doing things, obviously you have to prioritize each year what you're going to do. But if you need to, you know, kind of make a little area look nice on a budget, you know, then just kind of fill in your containers accordingly. And you know, I'm going to kind of see how some of these newbies do. Hopefully they're going to get lush and kind of fill in some of these gaps. And again, the nice thing about the containers is as they kind of evolve, your little gardening area can too. And again, you can just kind of move things around and experiment. And then hopefully when the time comes where you can do something more permanent, then this has kind of been your experimentation phase, so that, you know, you can garden a little smarter once you're able to do something maybe a little bit more permanent. So this is great. Even if you are able to maybe put an investment into some landscaping, you know, maybe you have some other home improvement projects and you don't want to commit to something permanent because you might be doing an addition or something later on. Again, this is kind of a nice temporary but pretty way to deal with that. Alright, so I will do a separate video of Queen Nectarine from my front yard in just a minute, but I thought I would just share this. This was kind of just really an impromptu project. It started out, I wanted to plant a few things and get them into some containers today, and then I kind of just started looking and thinking, especially because I've watched some really awesome gardening videos this spring, and decided, hey, this might be kind of like the way to go. And I think, again, once the sunflowers start blooming and the Bobo hydrangea and the shrub get a little bit bigger, that Blue Fortune's blooming, Golly Molly's reloading, my rose bush in the back is reloading, and then this David Austin rose, it is like the most gorgeous shade of like tangerine, and that, you know, gets another flush. I think this is all going to look really even nicer than it does already. So I hope that this has been inspirational to someone. And if you do container gardening, or you're kind of gardening on a budget, you know, and maybe again are not ready or not able, you know, to invest in some landscaping, even if you're trying to do it yourself, because obviously it gets involved hauling in dirt and, you know, little pavers for borders and things, not to mention the manpower of digging. You know, kind of what are your best tips and tricks? I'd love to hear those in the comments. So I hope everybody's having a great Saturday, and thank you for watching.